My name is Carter Hayes, and for 6 years, I welded pipes at the bottom of the ocean, 300 feet down, in complete darkness, where the pressure can crush you and the cold can kill you in minutes. But those weren't the things that scared me. What scared me were the rules, the ones they don't put in the training manual, the ones they only tell you after you've already signed the contract. Rules about things that live in the deep, things that watch you, things that want to become you. I followed most of those rules, but the ones I broke, they changed me forever. Rule 1. If you see a diver with no air hose, swim away. I've been an underwater welder for 6 years. I've seen some weird things down there in the dark. Sharks that get too curious. Equipment that fails at the worst moment. But nothing prepared me for the day I saw another diver. A diver with no air hose, no umbilical cord connecting him to the surface. Just floating there, watching me. My instructor told me about this on my very first day. He grabbed my shoulder so hard it hurt and said, "If you ever see a diver with no air hose, you swim away. You don't look back. You don't ask questions. You just swim." I thought he was messing with the new guy. I don't think that anymore. My name is Carter Hayes. Most people don't know what underwater welders do. We're the guys who fix the stuff you can't see. Oil platforms, pipelines, ship hulls, anything that breaks beneath the surface. It's dangerous work. The kind of job where one mistake means you don't come home. But it pays well, really well. And for a guy like me who barely finished high school, it was a way out. I got my start with a company called Deep Core Industries. They specialized in subsea pipeline repairs, the kind of work that took you hundreds of feet down into complete darkness. My first instructor was a guy named Ray Torrance. He'd been diving for 20 years. His face looked like old leather from all the pressure changes, but he was the best in the business. On my very first day of field training, before I'd even touched the water, Ray sat me down. He had this look in his eyes. Not fear, exactly, more like respect. The kind of respect you give to something dangerous. "Listen carefully, kid," he said. "I'm going to teach you a lot of things. How to weld underwater, how to read pressure gauges, how to survive equipment failure. But there's one rule that's more important than all of that combined." I remember nodding, trying to look professional, trying to show him I was taking this seriously. "If you ever see a diver with no air hose, you swim away. You don't look back. You don't ask questions. You just swim." I laughed. I actually laughed. I thought he was hazing me. Every industry has their ghost stories, right? Their urban legends to scare the rookies. I'm serious. Ray's grip tightened on my shoulder. It hurt. You see a diver down there with no umbilical, no hose, nothing connecting them to the surface. You turn around and you swim, fast as you can. You understand me? "Yeah, sure," I said, still not really believing him. "Say it back to me." "If I see a diver with no air hose, I swim away." Ray stared at me for a long moment. Then he let go. "Good. Don't forget it." I didn't think about that conversation for 3 years. I was too busy learning the trade, too busy trying not to die from the 100 other things that could kill you down there. Nitrogen narcosis, equipment failure, getting tangled in your own lines. The job had enough real dangers without worrying about ghost divers. My daily routine was simple. Get briefed on the job, suit up, get lowered down in the diving bell with my partner, do the work, come back up. The diving bell was our lifeline, a pressurized chamber that kept us safe as we descended. Inside, me and my partner would sit in silence, watching the water get darker and darker through the small porthole. The deeper you go, the less light there is. At 200 feet, it's twilight. At 300 feet, it's complete darkness. Your helmet lights become your whole world, two beams of white cutting through the black. And beyond those beams, nothing. Just an endless void that presses in on you from all sides. I learned to ignore it. The darkness, the pressure, the feeling that you're completely alone. You focus on the job, on the pipe that needs welding, on the crack that needs sealing. You don't think about what else might be out there. My partner's name was Marcus Liu. Good guy. Former Navy diver who'd switched to commercial work for the money. We'd been working together for about 8 months when it happened. We had a good rhythm. He'd secure the work area while I set up the welding equipment. Then we'd switch off, taking turns on the actual welding while the other kept watch. The job that day was routine, a cracked junction on a pipeline about 280 feet down. We'd done this exact type of repair dozens of times. The diving bell lowered us down through the darkness. Marcus and I checked our equipment one more time before the hatch opened. "Com check," the topside supervisor's voice crackled in my helmet. "Carter, clear," I responded. "Marcus, clear," my partner said. "Good. You've got 2 hours of bottom time. The current is mild today. Should be an easy one." I wished he hadn't said that. In my experience, the moment someone says a job will be easy, that's when things go wrong. We exited the bell and swam down to the pipeline. Our helmet lights cut through the darkness, illuminating the massive pipe. It was covered in barnacles and algae, nature trying to reclaim what humans had built. I found the crack quickly. A 3-foot split in the welded seam. Nothing unusual. I set up my equipment while Marcus secured our position lines. These lines connected us back to the diving bell, our lifelines to the surface. "Beginning work," I said into the radio. "Copy that," the supervisor responded. I fired up the underwater welding torch. Even underwater, the arc was bright, painful to look at directly. I focused on the crack, slowly sealing it with molten metal. The work was hypnotic. Just me, the torch, and the pipe. That's when I saw the movement. At first I thought it was Marcus, but Marcus was to my left, holding the support line. This movement was to my right, in my peripheral vision. I turned my head slowly. My helmet light swept across the darkness. There was someone there. Another diver, full gear, standing about 30 feet away, just standing there on the ocean floor, watching me. My first thought was relief. Another contractor. Maybe Deep Core had sent a second team and forgot to mention it. It happens sometimes. Communication wasn't always perfect. "Hey, Marcus," I said. "Did they mention another team working this area?" "Negative," Marcus replied. "We're the only ones scheduled." I looked back at the figure. They hadn't moved, just standing there. Something felt wrong. I couldn't put my finger on it at first. Then I realized. No bubbles. When you breathe underwater, your exhaust air creates bubbles. It's constant. A stream of silver spheres rising to the surface. Every diver leaves a trail. This diver had none. My light moved down from their helmet to their suit, following the usual path of the umbilical cord, the air hose that every diver needs to survive. It wasn't there. No hose, no umbilical, no line connecting them to anything. They were just there, standing on the ocean floor, 280 feet below the surface, in complete darkness. Ray's words came rushing back. "If you ever see a diver with no air hose, you swim away." "Marcus," I said quietly. My voice was shaking. "Marcus, there's someone here." "What? Where?" "To my right, about 30 feet. Full dive gear. But Marcus, they don't have an air hose." The radio went silent. Then, Carter, turn off your torch, right now. I killed the torch immediately. The bright arc disappeared, leaving only my helmet lights. Describe what you see, Marcus said. His voice was tight, controlled. A diver, standard suit. Can't see their face through the visor. They're just standing there, looking at us. The topside supervisor's voice cut in. Carter, Marcus, return to the bell immediately. Copy that, Marcus said. Carter, we're leaving. Now. But I couldn't move. I was frozen, staring at this impossible figure, because now that my torch was off, I could see better. They were moving closer, not swimming, not walking, just gliding across the ocean floor. Their boots weren't touching the ground. They were floating, drifting toward me like a piece of debris caught in a current, except there was no current. Carter! Marcus grabbed my arm. We're leaving now. That broke the spell. I turned away from the figure and started swimming back toward the bell. Marcus was right beside me. Our lights bounced wildly as we moved. Don't look back, Marcus said. Just swim. But I looked back. I couldn't help it. The figure was following us. Faster now. Much faster. It glided through the water like it was nothing, like physics didn't apply to it, and its arms were reaching out, grasping. It's following us, I shouted. Swim faster. We reached the diving bell and scrambled inside. Marcus hit the emergency recall button. The bell started ascending immediately. Through the porthole I could see it. The figure. It had stopped about 10 feet from the bell, just hovering there, watching us rise. And then I saw its face, or rather I saw that it didn't have one. Inside the helmet visor was nothing, just empty darkness. A void where a human face should be. What the hell was that? I gasped. Marcus was shaking. His hands trembled as he removed his helmet. That was what Ray warned you about. That's real? Those things are real? They're real. The supervisor's voice came through the speaker. We're bringing you up. Stay in the bell. The ascent felt like it took hours. In reality, it was only 40 minutes. Slow and controlled to prevent decompression sickness. But every second, I kept looking through the porthole, expecting to see that thing following us up. When we finally surfaced, Ray was waiting. His face was grim. You saw one, he said. It wasn't a question. What are they? I demanded. Ray looked at Marcus, then back to me. We don't know. They've been down there longer than we have. Some people think they're the ghosts of drowned divers. Others think they're something that's always been in the deep. Something that mimics us. Why didn't you tell me this was real? I was angry now, scared and angry. Would you have believed me? Or would you have thought I was crazy? Ray asked. He was right. I wouldn't have believed him. The important thing is you followed the rule, Ray continued. You swam away. That's why you're alive. What happens if you don't swim away? Ray's expression darkened. We've lost 14 divers in the last 10 years. All of them reported seeing a diver with no air hose right before they disappeared. Most of them got curious, got close, tried to help what they thought was another person in trouble. And we never recover the bodies. Sometimes we find their equipment, their suits, their helmets, but never the bodies. And their suits are always empty, like the person just vanished inside them. I felt sick. The company knows about this? Marcus asked. The company knows, Ray confirmed. Why do you think the pay is so good? Why do you think they give us such generous contracts? They're paying us for the risk, not just the diving risk, the other risk. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept seeing that empty visor, that reaching hand. I thought about quitting, about walking away from the whole job. But I couldn't. I had student loans from my welding certification. I had rent. I had bills. The money was too good to walk away from. And besides, I'd followed the rule. I'd survived. I could do this. I just had to be careful. The next day, I was back in the water. Different location, shallower depth, only 180 feet, an easy repair job on a ship hull. Everything went fine. No strange divers, no unexplained movements, just me, Marcus, and the work. But as we were finishing up, I heard something in my radio. Underneath the normal chatter, a voice, quiet, whispering, "Carter." I froze. Did anyone else hear that? Hear what? Marcus asked. Someone said my name. Negative, the supervisor said. No one up here said anything. But I'd heard it, clear as day. Someone had whispered my name. Carter. There it was again. I spun around, my lights cutting through the darkness. Nothing, just empty water. Carter, what's wrong? Marcus swam closer. I keep hearing, never mind, let's finish up. We completed the job and returned to the bell, but all the way up, I kept hearing it. My name, whispered over and over. Sometimes it sounded like Ray, sometimes like my mother, sometimes like people I'd never met. Carter, come back. We're waiting. Carter. When I told Ray about it, his face went pale. It knows your name now, he said quietly. What? When you see one of them, when you lock eyes with it, it learns you. It knows who you are. And sometimes it calls to you. How do I make it stop? Ray shook his head. You don't. You just don't listen. No matter what you hear down there, no matter who seems to be calling you, you don't respond. You don't follow the voice. The whispers continued for weeks. Every dive. Sometimes quiet. Sometimes loud. Always calling my name. Trying to get my attention. Trying to lure me away from my partner. Away from the light. Into the darkness. I learned to ignore it. Learned to focus on the work. On Marcus's voice. On the real things. Not the whispers. But then Marcus saw one. We were working on a deep pipeline repair, nearly 350 feet down, the darkest job we'd done together. Marcus was welding while I held the positioning line. There's someone over there, Marcus said suddenly. My blood went cold. Where? By the valve cluster. Just standing there. Do they have an air hose? Silence. Then, no, they don't. Then we leave, right now. Carter, it looks like my brother. Marcus, we're leaving now. My brother drowned when we were kids. I never got to say goodbye. Carter, it's him. I know it's him. Marcus, look at me. I swam in front of him, blocking his view. That's not your brother. That's what it wants you to think. We're going back to the bell. But now. I grabbed Marcus and pulled him toward the bell. He resisted at first, trying to look back, but I held firm. We reached the bell and got inside. Marcus was crying, openly crying inside his helmet. I saw him, he whispered. I saw Tommy. He was calling me. It wasn't him, I said. It was that thing. It shows you what it thinks will make you come closer. How do you know? Because it tried the same thing with me. I heard my mom's voice for 2 weeks. My mom's been dead for 5 years. That seemed to snap Marcus out of it. He looked at me with horror. What are we doing down here, Carter? What are we really doing? Making a living, I said, same as everyone. But I was wondering the same thing. How long could we keep doing this? How long before one of us made a mistake? Before we got too curious? Before we listened to the whispers? The company called it operational hazards. They had special clauses in our contracts about unusual workplace conditions. They paid out huge bonuses to anyone who completed their contract term. and they made us sign NDAs about anything strange we encountered. They knew, they'd always known, and they were willing to pay to keep it quiet. I'm finishing my contract next month. 6 years of diving, 6 years of ignoring the whispers, 6 years of following that one simple rule. If you see a diver with no air hose, you swim away. I've seen 3 more since that first time, each one different, each one trying something new. One waved at me, one pointed towards something in the darkness, one just watched me work for 20 minutes straight. But I always swim away. Ray retired last week. 22 years in the water, 22 years of following the rules. He survived. The trick, he told me on his last day, is remembering what's real. Your equipment, your partner, the surface, everything else down there. It's not real, it's not human, and it definitely doesn't need your help. I think about that a lot now, about what's real and what isn't. When you spend enough time in the deep, the line starts to blur. You start to wonder if anything you see is real, if the darkness is playing tricks on you. But I know one thing for certain. When you see a diver with no air hose, you don't ask questions. You don't get curious. You don't try to help. You just swim away. Because whatever it is down there, whatever it wants, it's not worth finding out. I'm done next month. I'll collect my completion bonus and never go back underwater again. But sometimes, late at night, I still hear the whispers. Carter, come back. We're waiting. Carter. And I know that even though I'm leaving, it's not done with me. It never will be. Rule 8. Never touch the barnacles that bleed. They briefed us about the bleeding barnacles on my second week. Ray, my supervisor, showed me photos. Clusters of shells covered in what looked like dried blood. He said they grow on certain sections of the pipeline, old sections, deep sections, places where divers have disappeared. If you see them, work around them, he told me. Never scrape them, never touch them, and for God's sake, never let them cut you. I nodded. I understood. But understanding a rule and following it are two different things, especially when you're 280 feet down and you can't see what you're grabbing onto in the dark. My name is Carter Hayes. I'm an underwater welder. I've been doing this job for 6 years now. 6 years of descending into darkness. 6 years of learning that the ocean has rules that don't make sense. Rules that you follow anyway, because the alternative is worse. After my first encounter with the diver with no air hose, I thought I'd seen the worst of what was down there. I was wrong. The ocean has layers of wrong, and each one is worse than the last. It was my second week back after that incident. I was still jumpy, still hearing whispers in my radio, still seeing shadows in my peripheral vision that disappeared when I turned my head. Ray said it would pass, that the ocean tests you when it knows you've seen something, that it wants to see if you'll break. I wasn't going to break. I needed this job. The money was too good, and besides, I'd survived the first encounter. I could survive whatever else was down there. Ray called me into his office before the morning dive. He looked tired, more tired than usual. He had a manila folder on his desk, the kind that meant this conversation is serious. Carter, we need to talk about something, he said. Something you need to know before your next dive. Another rule? I asked. Rule number 8, actually. He opened the folder and pulled out several photos. They were underwater shots, pipeline sections covered in marine growth, standard stuff, except for one detail. The barnacles were red, not rust red, not algae red, blood red. What am I looking at? I asked. Ray pointed to one of the photos, a close-up shot of a cluster of barnacles. They looked normal at first glance, white shells, ridged surfaces, clustered together like they always do. But there was something dark coating them, something that looked wet even in the photo. These grow on certain sections of the pipeline, Ray explained. We call them bleeding barnacles, and yes, before you ask, they actually bleed. I laughed. I couldn't help it. Come on, Ray. Barnacles don't bleed. They're mollusks. I'm not joking, Carter. Ray's expression didn't change. These things bleed. Real blood. Human blood. The laugh died in my throat. That's impossible. Yeah, well, so are divers with no air hoses. But you saw one of those, didn't you? He had a point. Ray pulled out more photos. Some showed the barnacles up close. Others showed entire sections of pipe covered in them. In one photo, a diver's glove was visible, touching a cluster. The water around the glove was clouded with red. Where do they come from? I asked. We don't know. They appear on older sections of the pipeline, sections that have been down for decades, places where divers have gone missing over the years. Ray paused. We think they're connected. Connected how? We think they grow where divers have died, or where something else happened, something bad. I studied the photos more carefully. Now that I was looking for it, I could see it. The barnacles weren't just growing on the pipes. They were arranged in patterns, almost like they were marking something, claiming it. What happens if you touch them? I asked. Ray's jaw tightened. That's why I'm showing you this. Rule number 8. Never touch the barnacles that bleed. Never scrape them off. Never let them cut you. If you see them on your work site, you mark the location and you work around them. You don't go near them. Why? What happens if you do? The bell reached depth and the hatch opened. We swam out into the darkness. Our helmet lights cut through the black water. The pipeline stretched out before us, disappearing into the void on both sides. I found the crack easily, a stress fracture in a welded joint. I set up my equipment while Marcus secured our lines. Everything was routine. Everything was normal. That's when I saw them, about 10 feet down the pipe from my work area. A massive cluster of barnacles. They covered at least 6 feet of the pipeline. Dense, thick, clustered so heavily that I couldn't see the metal underneath. And they were dark, darker than normal barnacles, like they were stained. Marcus, I said quietly, do you see those barnacles down there? Yeah, stay away from them. Are those the bleeding kind? Probably. They're in the right area, old section of pipe. And look how thick they are. I studied them through my helmet light. They looked wrong. Even from a distance they looked wrong. Like they didn't belong here. Like they were something alien that had invaded this space. I'm marking this location, I said. I pulled out a waterproof marker and made a note on my wrist slate. We need to tell Topside about this. Good idea, Marcus replied. I turned back to my work. The crack needed my attention. I fired up the welding torch and started sealing it. The familiar routine calmed me. This was what I knew. This was what I was good at. The work took longer than expected. The crack was deeper than it looked. I had to make multiple passes to seal it properly. Marcus kept watch, holding the positioning lines steady. I was almost finished when my torch sputtered. The flame flickered and died. Damn it, I muttered. I checked the connections. Everything looked fine. Sometimes the equipment just acted up underwater. I disconnected the torch to check the fuel line. That's when the current hit. It came out of nowhere, a strong lateral current that pushed me sideways. My boots lost their grip on the pipeline. I started to drift. Carter! Marcus shouted. I reached out instinctively, grabbing for the pipeline to steady myself. My hand found metal. I gripped tight, stopping my drift. And then I felt it. Something soft under my glove. Something that gave way under my grip. Something that popped. Warmth spread across my palm. Even through the thick rubber of my glove, I could feel it. Warm liquid, spreading, surrounding my hand. I looked down. My hand was gripping the cluster of barnacles, the bleeding barnacles. I drifted right into them, and now clouding the water around my hand was red, dark red, too dark to be rust, too thick to be algae. Blood. No, I whispered. No, no, no. I yanked my hand away. The water around me was filled with it now, a cloud of red that expanded with each passing second. I could see the barnacles I'd crushed. Their shells were broken, and from inside them, more blood was seeping out, pulsing out, like they had heartbeats. "Carter, what happened?" Marcus swam over. I touched them. The current pushed me, and I grabbed onto the pipe, and I touched them. My voice was rising, panicking. "Marcus," I touched the bleeding barnacles. Marcus grabbed my shoulders. Okay, stay calm. Let me see your glove." I held up my hand. The glove was coated in red. Blood had seeped into every crease, every wrinkle in the rubber. Marcus examined it carefully. "Is the glove torn?" he asked. "Did it cut through?" I flexed my fingers. Everything felt normal. No pain, no cold water seeping in. "I don't think so. The glove seems intact." "Then maybe you're okay. Maybe if it didn't touch your skin directly, you're okay. Maybe." "Carter, I don't know. Nobody knows exactly how this works. But we need to get you to the surface. Right now. The job isn't finished." "Forget the job." Marcus was already calling topside. "This is Marcus. We have a situation." Carter made contact with a bleeding barnacle cluster, requesting immediate recall. The supervisor's voice came through, tight with concern. "Copy that. Emergency recall initiated. Get to the bell now." We abandoned the worksite and swam back to the diving bell. I kept looking at my glove. The blood was still there, still wet. It should have washed away in the current by now, but it clung to the rubber like it was alive. We climbed into the bell and started the ascent. It was slow, too slow. Decompression couldn't be rushed, but every minute felt like an hour. I kept staring at my hand. "It didn't touch your skin," Marcus said. He was trying to be reassuring. "The glove protected you. You're going to be fine." Ray said to never touch them. He didn't say never touch them with bare skin. He said never touch them. Marcus didn't have a response to that. When we finally surfaced, Ray was waiting. His face went pale when he saw my glove. "Get him to decon," Ray ordered. "Full chemical wash, and someone get that glove off him, carefully." They rushed me to the decontamination area. 2 technicians helped me out of my suit. When they reached my glove, they worked slowly, peeling it off inch by inch, making sure none of the blood touched my skin. My hand emerged clean. No blood, no marks, no cuts. The glove had done its job. "See?" Marcus said. "You're fine. The glove protected you." But Ray wasn't smiling. "Get that glove to the lab. I want it tested. And Carter, you're staying in the observation quarters tonight." "Why?" "Because if something's going to happen, it'll happen when you sleep. And I want medical staff nearby when it does." That scared me more than anything else he could have said. They set me up in a room near the medical bay. It was small, just a bed, a desk, and a call button connected directly to the medical staff. Ray stayed with me for a while, going over what to expect. "If it's going to happen, it'll start tonight," he said. "You'll wake up feeling like you're drowning. Your lungs will feel full, heavy. You'll cough and water will come up. How do I stop it? You don't. You ride it out. You remind yourself that you're not actually underwater, that it's not real, and you breathe through it." "What if I can't?" Ray's expression was grim. "Then you hit that call button and medical comes running. They'll intubate you if they have to. Keep your airway clear. But Carter, most people don't make it through more than 3 or 4 nights of this before." He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't have to. "How long does it last?" I asked. "For the people who survived, a week, maybe 2. It gets weaker each night, but you have to fight through it every single time. And if I don't survive? Then we add your name to the list, and we brief the next guy about the barnacles that bleed." Ray left around 10 p.m. He told me to try to sleep, to rest while I could. But how do you sleep when you know what's waiting? I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. My hand felt normal, no tingling, no pain, no sign that anything was wrong. Maybe Marcus was right. Maybe the glove had protected me. Maybe I'd gotten lucky. I must have dozed off eventually, because I woke up choking. My lungs were full. I could feel it. Heavy, dense, like someone had poured concrete into my chest. I tried to breathe and got nothing. Just pressure, just weight. I sat up, gasping, or trying to gasp. But there was no air, just water. I could taste it. Salt water, ocean water, filling my mouth, my throat, my lungs. I was drowning. I fell off the bed, hitting the floor hard. My hands clawed at my throat, trying to clear it, trying to breathe. But there was nothing to clear. The water was inside me. It wasn't something I could cough up. I crawled toward the call button. My vision was darkening, black spots appearing at the edges. I was going to pass out. I was going to drown in this room, hundreds of miles from the ocean. My hand found the button. I pressed it. I held it down. The door burst open. Ray and 2 medical staff rushed in. They grabbed me, turned me on my side. One of them had a breathing tube ready. Carter, can you hear me? Ray's voice was distant, muffled, like he was talking from underwater. I tried to respond. Water came out of my mouth, a full stream of it, pouring onto the floor. Salt water, ocean water. It kept coming, more than should have been possible, more than my lungs could hold. The medical tech got the breathing tube in, forced air into my lungs. The water kept coming up, kept pouring out. For what felt like minutes, I was drowning and breathing at the same time. Finally, it stopped. The water slowed, then stopped completely. I could breathe again. Real air, real oxygen. I lay on the floor, gasping, shaking. The medical team was checking my vitals, shining lights in my eyes, asking me questions I couldn't process. Ray knelt beside me. His face was close to mine. "You made it through the first one," he said quietly. "But there'll be more, every night until it stops. Can you do this, Carter? Can you fight through this?" I looked at him, at the concern in his eyes, at the fear. "Do I have a choice?" I asked. "There's always a choice, but the choices aren't good." I understood what he meant. I could fight through this, or I could end up like Peterson, drowned in my own bed. "I'll fight," I said. The second night was worse. I knew it was coming this time. I tried to stay awake, tried to fight off sleep, but your body needs rest. Eventually, exhaustion wins. I woke up underwater. Not drowning this time, actually underwater. I could see through water. I was at the bottom of the ocean. The pipeline stretched out before me, and covering it, as far as I could see, were the barnacles. Thousands of them, millions of them, all bleeding, all pulsing. The water was thick with their blood, and they were speaking. I could hear voices coming from them, dozens of voices, hundreds, all whispering at once. "Carter, join us. Stay with us. You're one of us now." I tried to swim up, tried to reach the surface, but there was no surface, just water, endless water. And the barnacles, they were everywhere, on the pipes, on the ocean floor, on me. I looked down. My suit was covered in them. They were growing on me, spreading across my chest, my arms, my legs. I tried to scrape them off, but they held firm, and when I touched them, they bled. My blood, coming out of them. I woke up screaming. The medical team was already there. They'd been monitoring me. They knew when my vitals had spiked, when the drowning had started. This time, less water came up, but the terror was worse, because now I'd seen what they wanted. They wanted me to stay, to become part of them, to add my voice to their chorus. "It's getting in your head," Ray said the next morning. He looked like he hadn't slept either. "That's what they do. They make you see things, make you feel things. They want you to give up, to stop fighting." How do I fight something in my head? You remember what's real. This room is real. I'm real. The surface is real. Everything else is them trying to pull you under. Night 3 was the worst. I drowned 4 times. Each time, I woke up gasping, coughing up ocean water that shouldn't exist. Each time, the medical team brought me back, cleared my lungs, got me breathing again, but I could feel it getting weaker. The drowning wasn't as strong. The water wasn't as much. I was winning, slowly, painfully, but winning. By night 5, I only drowned once. A brief moment of choking, a mouthful of water. Then it was over. Night 6, I didn't drown at all. I slept through the whole night. No water, no barnacles, no voices. Ray came to check on me in the morning. He looked relieved when I told him. "You beat it," he said. "You actually beat it." "What about my hand, the one that touched them?" Ray had gotten the lab results back. "The blood on your glove wasn't human. I mean, it looked like human blood. It had the right color, the right consistency. But when they tested it, it was something else. Something organic, but not from anything they could identify." What does that mean? It means those barnacles aren't normal marine life. They're something else. Something that mimics, that imitates. Maybe they're parasites. Maybe they're something that feeds on us. We don't know. But whatever they are, they tried to get inside you, and you fought them off. I looked at my hand. It looked normal, but I could still remember the feeling. The warmth spreading across my palm. The sensation of something popping beneath my fingers. "Will I have to go back down there?" I asked. Ray shook his head. "Not to that section. We're marking it as restricted. No one works there anymore. We'll road around it." "What about other sections? Other clusters?" "You'll be more careful now. You know what to look for. You know what to avoid." He was right. I did know, and I'd never forget. I've been back to work for 3 weeks now. I haven't seen any more bleeding barnacles, but I'm careful, so careful. I check every pipe section before I touch it. I keep my distance from any heavy marine growth. And at night, sometimes I still taste salt water, just for a moment, just a hint, a reminder that they're still there, still waiting. Marcus asked me once if it was worth it, staying in this job after everything I'd experienced, the diver with no air hose, the bleeding barnacles, all the other things we don't talk about. I told him the truth. I don't know. The money is good. The work is challenging. But every time I descend into that darkness, I wonder if this is the time I don't come back up. Ray gave me one piece of advice after I recovered. The ocean doesn't forget Carter. It knows you now. It knows you've seen its secrets. It knows you've touched things you shouldn't have touched, and it will test you again. How do I prepare for that? I asked. You can't. You just survive it when it happens, and you follow the rules. Always follow the rules. Rule number 8. Never touch the barnacles that bleed. I followed it, sort of. I touched them through a glove, and I survived. But barely. Next time I'll be more careful. Next time I'll work around them. I'll keep my distance. I'll remember what Ray said. Because the ocean is full of things that bleed, things that whisper, things that want to pull you down into the dark. And once you've touched them, they never fully let go. I still have nightmares. Not every night, but enough. I dream I'm back at the bottom, back at that pipeline, and the barnacles are there, waiting, growing, spreading. And in the dream, they're not on the pipe anymore. They're on me. Rule 12. If your shadow moves wrong, surface immediately. Rule number 12 seemed paranoid when Ray first explained it. If your shadow moves wrong, surface immediately. I asked him what he meant by wrong. He said, "You'll know when you see it. And when you do, you don't question it. You don't investigate it. You get to the surface as fast as safely possible." Yesterday I understood what he meant. My shadow waved at me. I didn't wave. I was holding my welding torch with both hands, but my shadow, it waved, slow and deliberate, like it was greeting someone or saying goodbye. My name is Carter Hayes. I've been an underwater welder for 6 years now. In that time, I've learned that the ocean has rules that make no sense on the surface. Rules about divers with no air hoses, rules about barnacles that bleed, and now, rules about shadows that don't behave the way they should. After surviving the bleeding barnacles, I thought I'd earned some kind of reprieve, like the ocean would give me a break. Let me work in peace for a while. But that's not how it works down there. The ocean doesn't care what you've been through. It just keeps testing you, keeps pushing to see how much you can take before you break. It was a Tuesday morning, standard maintenance dive. Marcus and I were scheduled to inspect a series of pipeline joints at 290 feet. Nothing complicated, just visual inspection and minor repairs if needed. The kind of job we'd done 100 times before. Ray briefed us before the dive. He looked tired again. He always looked tired these days. I wondered how many years of this work it took before you looked like that, before the ocean wore you down to nothing. Standard inspection, Ray said, going through the checklist. But I want you both to pay attention to something today. What's that? Marcus asked. Your shadows. Marcus and I exchanged glances. This was new. What about our shadows? I asked. Ray pulled up a video on his tablet. It was helmet cam footage from a dive. I recognized the diver, Thompson. He'd quit 3 weeks ago. Just walked off the rig in the middle of his contract. Didn't even wait for the helicopter. He paid the penalty fees and left. In the video, Thompson was working on a pipe. His helmet lights cast his shadow on the metal surface. At first, everything looked normal. Then slowly, the shadow started moving differently. When Thompson reached for a tool, his shadow reached in the opposite direction. When Thompson turned his head left, the shadow turned right. Watch this part, Ray said. In the video, Thompson stopped moving. He was staring at something off camera. His shadow, however, kept moving. It raised its arms, stretched, like it was waking up from a long sleep. Then it turned and looked directly at Thompson. Even though shadows don't have eyes, you could tell it was looking at him. Thompson started screaming. The video cut off. What happened to him? I asked. He surfaced, immediately, refused to ever go back down. That's when he quit. Ray paused. But he got out in time. Rule 12. If your shadow moves wrong, surface immediately. Don't wait. Don't try to figure it out. Just get to the bell and come up. What happens if you don't surface? Marcus asked. Ray's expression darkened. We've lost 2 people to this. Both times they stayed down, tried to keep working, thought it was just a trick of the light. By the time they realized something was wrong, it was too late. Too late how? I pressed. The shadow replaced them. When they surfaced, they weren't quite right anymore. They looked the same, sounded the same, but something was off. They'd forget things about their own lives, make mistakes they shouldn't make, and their shadows moved perfectly after that. Exactly synchronized, like the shadow had learned how to mimic them properly. Where are they now? Marcus asked. One of them walked into the ocean 3 days after his dive. Just walked in and kept walking until the water covered him. Never came back up. Ray closed the tablet. The other one is in a psychiatric facility. He keeps saying he's not real. that the real him is still down there, trapped in the shadow. The diving bell felt smaller that day, more claustrophobic. Marcus and I suited up in silence. We both checked our equipment 3 times, then checked each other's equipment. Neither of us wanted to go down, but this was the job. The descent was quiet. We didn't talk. We just watched the water get darker through the porthole, watched the light fade until there was nothing but black. At 290 feet, the hatch opened. We swam out into the void. Our helmet lights were the only illumination, 2 narrow beams cutting through endless darkness. The pipeline materialized in front of us, a massive metal serpent stretching into the nothing. "Comm check," the topside supervisor said. "Carter, clear," I responded. "Marcus, clear." "Copy. You're clear to begin inspection. Keep an eye on those shadows." "Will do," Marcus said. We started working our way along the pipeline. The inspection was methodical. Check each joint. Look for cracks. Look for corrosion. Look for anything that might indicate structural weakness. It was boring work, repetitive, which is probably why I didn't notice at first. I was examining a welded seam when I saw movement in my peripheral vision, my shadow on the pipe. It was moving, but I wasn't moving. I was holding still, studying the seam. I turned my head slowly. My helmet light swept across the pipeline. My shadow stretched out before me, long and distorted by the angle of the light, and it was waving, slowly, deliberately, one arm raised, hand moving back and forth, a clear, unmistakable wave. But both my hands were on the pipeline, one holding my position, one holding my inspection light. Neither of them was waving. My blood went cold. "Marcus," I said quietly. My voice was shaking. "Marcus, I need you to look at something." "What's up?" "My shadow. Can you see my shadow from where you are?" There was a pause. "Yeah, I can see it." "Why? What's it doing?" Another pause. Longer this time. "Carter, your shadow just waved at me." "I'm not waving." "I know, but your shadow is." I stared at the shadow. It had stopped waving now. It was just there, a dark silhouette against the lighter metal, looking perfectly normal. Except I knew what I'd seen, and Marcus had seen it too. "We need to surface," Marcus said. His voice was tight. "Right now, Rule 12. "Copy that." I started to move toward the diving bell, but I made the mistake of looking at my shadow again. It wasn't following me. I moved left. The shadow stayed right. I raised my arm. The shadow lowered its arm. We were completely out of sync, like it was doing the opposite of everything I did. "Marcus, it's not following me anymore. Don't look at it. Just swim to the bell." I tried. I focused on the diving bell ahead, on getting back, on getting to the surface. But my helmet light kept catching the shadow. And every time I saw it, it was doing something different, something wrong. At one point, it was ahead of me, swimming faster than I was, leading the way. But that's impossible. Shadows don't lead, they follow. At another point, it was beside me, swimming parallel, like we were a team, like it was a separate entity entirely. "Carter, how close are you to the bell?" Ray's voice came through the radio. "Maybe 30 feet. Your helmet cam. Your shadow is..." "Carter, move faster." "What's it doing?" "It's reaching for you. Your shadow is reaching for you." I looked down. My shadow on the ocean floor was directly beneath me, and it was reaching up, both arms extended, hands grasping, trying to grab me, trying to pull me down. I kicked harder, swam faster. The diving bell was right there, just a few more feet. My shadow was faster. It climbed up my leg. I could feel it. Actual physical sensation. Cold fingers wrapping around my ankle, pulling, dragging me down. "Something's got me," I shouted. "Something's pulling me down." Marcus was at the bell. He turned and swam back toward me. "Where? I don't see anything." "My ankle. It's got my ankle." But when I looked down, there was nothing there. No hand, no creature, just my shadow. My shadow wrapped around my leg like a living thing. Marcus grabbed my arm and pulled. Together, we fought against the drag, against the impossible force pulling me toward the ocean floor. Inch by inch, we made progress. My shadow stretched, elongated, like it was made of rubber, trying to keep its grip. We reached the bell and scrambled inside. Marcus hit the emergency recall. The hatch sealed, and immediately the pressure on my ankle released. I looked down. My leg was fine. No marks, no bruises, but I could still feel where it had grabbed me. Could still feel those cold fingers. "Did you see it?" I gasped. "Did you see my shadow grab me?" "I saw something," Marcus said. He was shaking. "I don't know what, but I saw something wrong with your shadow." The ascent took 40 minutes. Decompression couldn't be rushed, but every second felt like an hour. I kept my eyes off the floor, off the walls, off anywhere a shadow might form, because I could feel it, even in the bell, even going up. My shadow was still there, still wrong. When we surfaced, Ray was waiting with a medical team. They checked me over immediately. Vital signs, neurological responses, psychological evaluation. Everything came back normal. "How do you feel?" Ray asked. "Scared," I admitted. "What was that thing?" "We don't know exactly. Some kind of mimic. It studies you, learns from you, tries to become you." Ray paused. "You surfaced in time. That's good. If you'd stayed down much longer, it might have succeeded." "Succeeded in what?" "In replacing you." That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I felt those fingers on my ankle, felt that cold grip pulling me down. I kept the lights on in my quarters, kept them bright, because shadows can't exist in bright light. Right? Wrong. I saw it on the wall. My shadow, cast by the overhead light, and it was moving wrong. When I sat still, it shifted. When I stood up, it stayed seated. We were completely out of sync. I called Ray. It was 3 a.m., but he answered immediately, like he'd been expecting my call. "It followed me up," I said. "My shadow. It's wrong. It's still wrong." "I know," Ray said quietly. "Once it attaches to you, it doesn't let go easily." "How do I get rid of it?" "You don't. You outlast it. For the next few days, maybe a week, your shadow is going to be wrong. It's going to move independently, do things you don't do. But as long as you don't go back down into the water, it should fade. It needs the deep to stay strong." "Should fade? You don't know for sure?" "Carter, nothing about this is certain. But everyone who's surfaced in time and stayed on the rig has eventually returned to normal. The shadow goes back to being just a shadow. And if I go back down before it fades..." Ray was quiet for a moment. "Then it gets stronger. It learns faster. And eventually it won't need you anymore." I spent the next 5 days on the rig, but not diving. Ray put me on surface maintenance, paperwork, inventory, anything that kept me above water. And he was right. Slowly, gradually, my shadow started behaving normally again. On the first day, it was completely independent, moving on its own, doing its own things, a separate entity. By the third day, it was mostly synchronized, still a half-second off, still not quite right, but closer. By the 5th day, I couldn't tell the difference anymore. My shadow moved when I moved, stopped when I stopped. It was just a shadow again, but I still didn't trust it. Marcus came to check on me on the 6th day. "How are you feeling?" he asked. "Better. I think it's gone." "You think?" "I can't be sure. How do you know if your shadow is really your shadow? How do you know it's not just pretending to be normal?" Marcus didn't have an answer for that. Ray cleared me for diving on the 7th day. A shallow dive, only 150 feet. A quick repair job that would take an hour at most. A test to see if I was really okay. I suited up, went through all the pre-dive checks. Everything was normal. Everything felt normal. But as I stood at the edge of the platform, about to enter the diving bell, I looked down at my shadow. It looked back. I don't mean it reflected my gaze. I mean it looked at me. I could feel eyes where there shouldn't be eyes. Awareness where there should only be an absence of light. Ray, I said, I don't think I'm ready. What's wrong? My shadow. It's still not right. Ray came over and looked at my shadow, studied it, watched it move as I shifted my weight. It looks normal to me, Carter. I'm telling you, it's not. Look, I understand you're spooked. What happened down there was traumatic. But you can't let fear control you. You're a good diver, one of the best. Don't let this thing win. He was right. I couldn't let fear control me. I'd survived divers with no air hoses. I'd survived bleeding barnacles. I could survive this. I stepped into the diving bell. Marcus was already inside. The hatch sealed. We started to descend. At 50 feet, I noticed something wrong. My shadow on the wall of the bell wasn't quite right. The angle was off, just slightly. Not enough for Marcus to notice, but I noticed. At 100 feet, my shadow was a full second behind my movements. Like there was a delay. Like it was processing what I did before copying it. At 150 feet, my shadow was doing its own thing entirely. It was examining the walls of the bell, running its hands along the metal, searching for something. Marcus, I said quietly, do you see my shadow? Marcus looked. His face went pale. Carter, your shadow is... Carter, your shadow is opening the hatch. I spun around. My shadow on the hatch door was turning the manual release. The wheel was spinning. The hatch was opening. At 150 feet, if that hatch opened, we'd be crushed instantly. The pressure would kill us before we could even scream. I lunged for the wheel, grabbed it, tried to hold it closed, but my shadow was stronger. It kept turning, kept opening. Emergency ascent, Marcus shouted into the radio. Emergency ascent now. The bell lurched, started rising, fast, too fast for proper decompression, but better than dying at depth. The wheel kept turning under my hands. My shadow kept pulling, kept trying to open the hatch. I could see my knuckles going white from the effort of holding it closed. Help me, I shouted. Marcus grabbed the wheel too. Together, we held it. Fought against my shadow, against the impossible strength of something that shouldn't exist. The bell broke the surface. The external crew opened the outer hatch, pulled us out. The moment I was out of the bell, my shadow stopped fighting, stopped moving independently. It was just a shadow again. I collapsed on the deck, gasping, shaking. Marcus was beside me, equally shaken. Ray was there. His face was grim. It's not fading, he said. Your shadow, it's not fading like it should. It's getting stronger. What does that mean? It means you can't go back down. Not for a long time. Maybe not ever. Ray helped me to my feet. Whatever that thing is, it's attached to you. And every time you go into the deep, it gets more control. So what do? You finish your contract on surface duty. And when your contract is up, you don't renew. You find a different job, a different life, one that doesn't involve going underwater. I wanted to argue, wanted to say I wouldn't let this thing win, that I was stronger than some shadow, but the truth was I was scared, more scared than I'd ever been. That was 3 weeks ago. I've been on surface duty ever since. My shadow has been normal, perfectly synchronized, doing exactly what shadows do. But I don't trust it. I can feel it watching me, waiting. I'm finishing my contract in 2 weeks. 6 years of diving, ending because of something as simple as a shadow. Ray says I'm making the right choice. That some people aren't meant for the deep, that the ocean chooses who it keeps and who it lets go. But here's the thing that keeps me awake at night. The thing I haven't told anyone, not Ray, not Marcus, not the company psychologist. Sometimes when I look in a mirror, my reflection is slightly off, a fraction of a second delayed, like it's not quite me, like something else is learning how to be me. And I wonder if my shadow didn't fade, if it didn't let go. I wonder if it's already won. Yesterday I was in my quarters, looking in the mirror, brushing my teeth, and my reflection. It smiled at me. I wasn't smiling. Rule 12. If your shadow moves wrong, surface immediately. But what do you do when you're already on the surface? What do you do when there's nowhere left to run? What do you do when you realize the thing you've been running from has been right there with you the whole time? I don't have an answer to that. I'm not sure anyone does. All I know is that in 2 weeks, I'm leaving this rig. I'm leaving the ocean. I'm going somewhere far inland, somewhere dry, somewhere bright, somewhere without shadows. But I have a feeling it won't matter, because wherever I go, my shadow goes too. And it's not really my shadow anymore. I don't know what it is, but it's learning, getting better at pretending. Soon it'll be perfect. And when it is, I wonder what will happen to me. Will I fade away? Will I become the shadow? Or will I just stop being entirely? I guess I'll find out. In the meantime, I'm keeping the lights on. All of them. As bright as possible. Because maybe, just maybe, if there's enough light, shadows can't exist. But I don't really believe that. Not anymore.